Hi.
Are we ready? Are we okay, Bianca, to go? Fantastic. Now, this is a special night for me. Well, it's always a special night, but some nights are more special than others. There's well, welcome everybody to the World Storytelling Cafe. And I've only really got to know Raine virtually over this period. It was kind of, we went through about 3 people. It was when I was trying to put on the program for Gypsy Travel and Roma History Month. You know, someone put me in touch with someone who put me in touch with Raine, and so it's with enormous pleasure that I introduce poet, writer, storyteller, songwriter, the whole business. And I love artists that do the whole business. So can you put your hands together and welcome Raine Geoghegan?
Thank you.
Called Simon.
Dick a kai, my Carrie. Come and sit yourself down, you look duckered. Me granny used to sit by the yog all the time, rubbing her hands, then moving them close to the flames. Her skin turned dark, and she said that the fire did it. Dark raddies with no moon, only the brightness of the yog. Great Aunt Bethy telling a story, the one about her great-great-granny Margaret who drowned in a ditch, drunk as a lord, her face down in the water. 6 piglets running around and over her, them not seeming to notice. Anne's holding saucers of mesky with drops of tatty panny in them, all of the malt slowly getting skimmished. When the Romanies were forced off the roads into houses, they were saddened by the fact that they could no longer hear the cuckoo sing. Cawing Chiriclo, a triolet. I've loved to hear the cuckoo sing. I'm a Romany, always travelling from Huntingdon to King's Lynn. I've loved to hear the cuckoo sing since I was a chavvy in a sling. Summer, autumn, winter, spring. I've loved to hear the cuckoo sing. I'm a Romany, always travelling. So welcome and thanks for joining us. I think we've got a few more people coming on very soon. I'm really thankful to John for inviting us and to Bianca for helping out with all the technical stuff. And I'm so happy that Simon is able to play both guitar and keyboards for us today, and that Rory McLeod is joining us to play the spoons. Now, many of you know me. I'm a Romany traveller. Well, I'm half Romany and half Georgia, so I'm what's called a Didikai. And I grew up with my granny and grandfather in their house. My mum was born in a wagon, which I will show you a picture of at the back. Not her wagon, but the one that's very similar. It's called a bow top, and it's that one at the back. And she was 14 when she moved into a house for the first time. So I have a lot of memories about that time, and what I've done with both my books, this is my recent one, They Lit Fires, and this is the first one, Apple Water Povel Panni, both published by Hedgehog. And what I've done is I've looked, Hedgehog Poetry Press. So I've looked really at my family, and the characters that I know, I've tried to sort of do justice to, but the characters I didn't know, I've tried to reimagine them. So literally sort of, I feel like it's a channeling of sorts. I've brought them down here, and I'm writing about them and bringing them to life. So I'm going to continue reading for you. And this is a story, a poem, a prose poem, and it's for my grandfather. Here is a picture of him and my granny. He used to have vines growing grapes. His name was Alfie Lane, and it's called Making the Vardas. Sitting on the doorstep, he picks up his churi, makes the first cut into the oak, the finest for small vardos. He's taken to this since moving into the ken. He's made one for two of his children, now he's on the third. The Juk watches him as he carves the door. He thinks of painting it red, Mary's best colour. He works quietly, dropping the shavings into a bowl. He remembers making the pegs, chinning the koshtis, they called it, when he was on the drom. They had always sold well. The Rackleys used to say he was the best peg maker in all of Kent. He didn't like the fuss, but he was proud of what he did. His dad taught him the craft, how to grind the tips until they were sharp, how to make the handle level so it fitted snug in the hand, never scolding him if he got it wrong. He rubs the tiny door down with sandpaper, holds it up to the light, brushes his finger across it. Smooth as a pebble, eh, Butch? The Juk barks. Alfie stops. He yawns. The dog yawns. I'm tired. Let's gel to Woodruss, Butch. Tomorrow he'll paint the door. When it dries, he'll stencil on the drabas, all in keeping. These little vardas, it's all we got now, eh, Butch? Okay, so this next poem has turned out to be quite a favourite. People seem to love it, although, you know, in a way, there's a little bit of distaste to it. It's called The Hotchie Witchie, and it's about the time when all the travellers used to eat hedgehogs because it was part of their staple diet, like rabbits, shushi, and chickens, and other sorts of fowl, wild fowl. So this is called Hotchie Witchie. To bake an Hotchie Witchie, roll it in the clay, drop it in the embers of the yog. Go and sing a song, chase a shushi down the drom, do a little jig, jog, jog. When the clay's open, the spines will come away. What's left is sweet and tasty. Chank it while it's hot, it may be all you got. Gorge your food, it's not. Chew your little jig, jog, jog. Chew your little jig, jog, jog. So needless to say, I have never eaten a hedgehog, and I wouldn't ever, ever, ever. So moving on, I'm going to recite a poem. Hopefully I'll still remember it because it's a long time since I've done this one. It's called Chickens in a Pen. And you know all this business with Priti Patel, you know, going on about travellers not being able to stop where they want. Well, it's nothing new because the Romany gypsies have been facing this for many years. So this is a poem really about what it's like to be forced off the road. Okay. I can't remember it. It's completely gone from my mind. I'll come back to it because I do know it. So I'll come back to it in a little while. Okay. This poem. Okay, I remembered it. Chickens in a pen. They drove us off the toba. We settled in a ken. The chavies didn't like it, like chickens in a pen. They drove us off the toba. You've never seen the like. We couldn't hear the cuckoo sing or light the yog at night. They drove us off the toba. The politicians had their say. We're gypsies through and through. Watch us rise, we'll have our day. They drove us off the toba. We've settled in a ken. The chavies, they don't like it, like chickens in a pen. Okay, so this next poem is really based on when my granny and grandfather used to go out. It's called The Clearing, and it's late summer 1938, just before the Second World War. We used to walk out together on dark nights, get away from the talk of war. He called it the mother in darkness and said that nothing could harm us while we were together. I would trip over stumps and stones. He'd tighten his grip and say, "You're all right with me, Ain." We talked about our dads, things they said, their mannerisms. Mine would pretend he was boxing. His fists would come up and he'd lunge at you. Alf laughed, said he knew a few chows that used to do that. His dad used to chew on a matchstick, then spit it out on the ground. Funny, because now I look back, that's exactly what Alf did once we was married. As the black of the night lifted and the moon sneaked through the clouds, we saw what was in front of us. We saw it clear as day. And when we came to the clearing, I leaned in close, smelling the fresh scent of soap on him and the woody smell of the poos. He said, "Look at that moon, Ain. There ain't nothing like it in the old world." This next poem is called The Memory of the Hopfields, and it was actually included in a documentary made by Catcher Media for a celebration of hop picking. And it's based on a memory of my granny's, a memory of the Hopfields. She is in the front garden, bending low, picking bluebells, wearing her old red apron with the Spanish dancer on the front. She stands up, rubbing her lower back, her mind shaping a memory. The Hopfields, her mother, lean, strong, picking the hops as quick as a squirrel, her bal in plaits tied on top of her head, her gold hoops pulling her ears down, ruddy cheeks, dry cracked lips, her father pulling poles, sweating, smiling, his gold tooth for all to see. At the end of a long day, she would stand on top of an apple crate, comb his hair, kiss his neck tasting of salt. He would pick her up, swing her high, low, and say, "You're the prettiest little chai there ever was." And I write a lot about my granny because she really was quite a character. She used to sell flowers in Feltham High Street in Middlesex until she was over 80. Her motto was keep moving, and she lived until she was 93. I think she would have gone on longer if my auntie hadn't put her into a care home, to be honest. But she's very much with me and she inspires a lot of my work. So this next poem was written in honor of my great aunt Celia, who was often brought in to wash the dead, because obviously we have now moved away from those traditions. I think it's, the Hindus and Sikhs still do this, and some people do, but not really in England. But she always came in and she washed the dead, and she was just very meditative about it and very loving. And this is called A Song to Rest the Tired Dead in Memory of Celia Lane. It is dusk. She has come to wash the body. A table is set by the bed, a bowl of lavender water, clean muslin cloths, a white towel. Too young for death, she thinks, as she removes all the clothing and jewelry from the body of her niece. She notices stretch marks on the thighs, how the breasts have dropped from feeding the chavies. 40 years ago, just being born, sucking at a dyer's breast. Taking a cloth, she dips it in water, squeezes it hard in her hand, sets about her task. Malts stand by the doorway, aunts, daughters, sisters, and the dyer, singing in low, soft voices, a song to rest the dead. She speaks quietly to her loved one as she gently cleans, lifting one arm up, then another, holding it, placing it down carefully, as if it was made of glass. The others won't move too close. It is mockady to do so. This woman who washes the dead now holds both feet, letting them rest for a while. blessing them for all the miles they have trod the earth. She dresses her niece in the finest of clothes, combs her dark tangled hair, places the gold chain and earrings in the palm of the right hand, puts the wedding ring back on the third finger of the left hand. Such small fingers. Bending forward, kisses them. You are ready now, my gal. Solve well. Okay, so we're going to sing a lullaby now. And as John was saying, I've been writing poetry, monologues, short stories and songs. And this is a song that a mother might have sang in the Vada, in the wagon. And I hope that you like it. It's called Safe in Albardo Tonight. I'll gather you into my arms, keep you safe from harm. We'll sit by the Yog and I'll rock you till soft, safe in Albardo tonight. Safe in Albardo tonight. Inside the candles the light, for here will lie my little child, safe in Albardo tonight. I'll gather you into my arms, keep you safe from harm. We'll wait for Daddy, my sweet shabby, safe in Albardo tonight. Safe in Albardo tonight. Inside the candles alight, for here will lie my little child, safe in Albardo tonight. Thank you. And I forgot to mention that, thank you, John, the very first song, number that Simon played was his own composition. It's called The Walking People, and it's in honour of the travelling gypsies in Ireland, the travellers called the Walking People. Thank you. And over to Simon.
I'm just going to do a couple of short songs while Raine's taking a breather. I hope the sound is okay. I've done as you said, John, with the filters and things, so we'll try it. you. I'm going to turn my back on you now because I'm going to do it on the keyboard. Another one on keyboard.
Thank you, Simon. It's so lovely to have some live music. Simon's done a lot of gigging all over the world, actually. He used to work in a blues band and did session work, but obviously a lot of it has dried up because of the dreaded COVID. So he's been at home, and it's been lovely listening to some of his music at home. So I'm going to sing now a song which I wrote in English. Well, actually, I wrote it in Romany first because I was just so turned on to the Romany language that I just started experimenting with it. So I wrote it in English first, in Romany first, and then did the translation. It's called O Lili Gili, which is the song of summer, and it's a love song, really about two people coming together, and he is telling her that he loves her, for the earth, for the heavens, he loves her, and then he's saying that, you know, on when we're on the river, I love you, come my beloved, let me sing you a song. And then he says, in the nighttime, a kiss for my beloved, I will sing you a song. So again, I hope I remember it. I do know all these things, but you know, when you're facing this sort of camera Zoom thing, sometimes my mind just goes completely blank, but hopefully I'll remember the words. Okay, O Lili Gili. Pray O Lili, gili over a gili. Pray O chick, pray O charos, gili over a gili. Pray O Panni, gili over a gili. Shoo mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Gili over a gili, gili over a gili. Shoo mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Gili over a gili, gili over a gili. Shoo mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Pray O raddy, gili over a gili. A chum mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Pray O Lili, gili over a gili. Pray O chick, pray O charos, gili over a gili. Gili over a gili, gili over a gili. Shoo mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Gili over a gili, gili over a gili. Shoo mi vas tacha, gili over a gili. Thank you, thank you. So, okay, moving forward now. What am I doing now? Okay, my great grandfather, John Ripley, was born in Kent He had 21 children. He was a flower seller and a horse dealer. He loved both flowers and horses. And I've got a couple of pieces here which I'd like to read to you. And the first one is called Under a Gooseberry Bush, in memory of John Ripley. Somewhere in Kent, this is where I was born and laid in me mother's arms, crying for me dear life. It was a warm day in June. Me mum and her people were on their way to the Hopfields in Peasmarsh. Me dad had gone ahead to meet some mushes, don't ask. Me poor mum was finding it hard, her carrying me near to her time, and the bump, bump, bump of the wheels of the Varda. They stopped in the Poov to have some hobbing. Aunt May was making Joey Gray. The chavvies were running around. Me mum was soaking her feet in cool water. That's when it started. Her waters broke and the bowl went flying. There was hollering and shouting. Aunt May moved me mum under the bushes, told me cousin to get help from another travelling family. It was touch and go, according to me being the wrong way round. But thank the Lord there was a Rackley who had delivered a lot of chavvies. She pulled me out and I was born. I was named John Ripley after me dad. The head rom came down and blessed me. He tied a little bag of rowing berries round me neck to warn off the bad mullah and to bring Kushti bocked. All the Rackleys put a little coin in me hand, as was the custom. Luckily, me aunt and uncle had left patron signs along the way, so we had plenty of folk to wet me little head. It's not every day a chavvy gets born under a gooseberry bush. Course, I never hear the end of it. Me mum and dad tease me rotten, and when I tells folks, they don't believe it. Mind you, I've had a good life, set me up for life, give me strength, and I've had a bloody cushy life, I can tell you. Me mum used to tell me this story over and over. To tell you the truth, I've loved telling it as much as hearing it. Okay, that's the next one. Gypsy. Okay, so now we're going, still focusing on my great-grandfather, John Ripley from Kent. There's a lot of Ripleys in Kent, so we have lots of distant cousins, and I'm hoping that some of them are watching tonight. And this was when, most of my work's based on true stories, I must tell you this. This is when my grandfather, as a young lad, used to go onto Hastings Beach and he used to sing and dance to get some money, poshes. It's called I'm a Traveling Gypsy. A windy day on Hastings Beach, a young lad with thick dark hair and strong cheekbones kicks his chockers off, rolls up his trousers and walks along the sand. He comes to a place where the carriages stop. I'll catch plenty of Guros and Rackleys here, he said. Yearn myself a few bob. He places his cap on the sand, clears his throat. Me name's John Ripley, I'm a travelling gypsy. Dick me dance, shoe me a gilly. I'll cheer you up when the cold wind blows. It's cold on Hastings Beach, don't I know? He takes out his mouth organ, wipes it with his sleeve, cups it in his vase, then plays an old tune. It's a cushy life. As he plays, he jogs on one foot then the other, lifting his knees high. A few spectators smile, chuckle at him. By midday, his cap is almost full of pennies. He lays down on his back, looking up at the far sky. He'd come back tomorrow, zip out of the Varda once his dad had gone to feed the gry. He'd get mullered if the old man found out. I'll have to be a bit crafty, hide me poshes somewhere safe. He drops the coins into his pocket, puts his cap on, carries his chockers and whistles as he makes his way home. Okay, Bones and Spoons. Right, I am now going to read Bones and Spoons. It's a very short poem in my latest pamphlet, They Lit Fires, Lenti, Yog. And then we're really, really honoured to have Rory McLeod. After I've read the poem, he is going to play the spoons for us, which is what my grandfather used to play. So here is the poem, and we're getting lots of lovely comments on here. Thank you everyone that is commenting. Bones and spoons. Before I played the spoons, I played the bones. Before I played the bones, I listened to me father playing the spoons, to me grandad playing the bones. And as I tell you this, me son is listening. The bones, they are awaiting. And the spoons, well, they're in the kitchen drawer. Thank you, Rory. He's got to turn his sound on. Bianca, can you?
Unmute. I've done it.
Okay, good.
There you are. Okay. Okay.
Oh, brilliant.
Well done. Fantastic, Rory. Thank you so much. Thank
You're welcome.
you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your poems. Nice to hear all those words. Hedgehog
Thank you.
and Bardos and
Thank
it's
you.
for the Scottish travellers, for the English
Oh, the
guys.
Scottish travellers. I hope Jess Smith's listening in tonight. She
I
did
wonder.
say she would tune in. That would be lovely for her. Thank you.
Thanks for Duncan Williamson, that one.
Thank you. Great. Great.
Yeah. Cheers.
So
Thank you.
we're moving on now, Bianca, to the little video, and I just want to introduce that. My granny, Amy Lane, who I was very close to. This is a brief video, well, a recording of her voice talking about the hop picking when she was sort of in her 80s, and Bianca's put together some photographs. Thank you, Bianca.
He said, no matter. He said, we could tell after Lorraine. They said, here come the married couple. What's going to get married? All the travellers were sort of looking at us. I said, oh, Lord, Dawdy. I said, look at the babies. I said, Loveridges. I said, no, all the lot of us. I said, we're not my dad. He said, is your father over there? I can see my elf now. So I said, Dad, I said, where's your cribs? That was a big thing we had to start off picking in. He said, over there, he said. Tell it up, he said, you're going to put it there, he said, next to mine. I know why, because I was a good picker with my elf. So we went along like that. 1 o'clock come, 2 o'clock come. They all blowed the whistle for dinner. I said, yeah, come on, bar the kettle, make the fires up, I said. They all made the fires up with all the wood, all the kettle around the kettles went all round the fire. My mum went and sat down, I went and sat down beside my mum, my dad, Aunt Rora, Uncle Sam. There was a load of my house people, none of mine. See, Lorraine, East people, as a parson said, they thought more of the Lanes what they did the Ripleys, see? Because the Lanes was there so many years, good lot of people. So I looked at my dad, we had a dinner, laughing and going round this big fire. I said to my dad, I said, nice or hot, Dad? I said, we can earn some money in this lot. I think me and my elf had about £5 to £10. Anyway, long come the bushler. Get your ups ready, all down this ground, get them all ready. Up, I was a dirty picker, leaves in ups. My up was a clean picker, and I tossed them up and down like this. He said, I'm going for a walk. I said, Alf, I said, I know why you're going to leave me. I said, because I've been to pick my ops dirty. He started laughing all underneath his face. I said, my dad said, here he goes, you know why? Because you're a dirty picker. I said, yes. I said, I want 30, 40 bushel out a day. Looked at my dad. My dad lost me. Good picker. Up come the bushel, right down through. He looked at me, he said, you're the one he said's going to get married. I said, no, not now. Harold. His name's Harold. He was bad after me. So now, I said, the person I said won't marry us. No, he said, I'll call you Amy, he said, because really, he said, I know all of it, he said, now, he said, backwards, he said, you used to come, he said, before you was going to get married. I said, that's right. My police went down to the place. So,
Thank you.
Okay, cool. I
Thank
just
you.
raised my hand and had to put it down again because I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Raise your hand.
Thank you. Okay, that was my granny. And this next poem I'm going to go straight into.
She's reading more.
Who said? I can't hear what that was. Who said that? This again is a story based on my great aunt Shirley, who said that when they used that, obviously that was all about hopping. My granny said she was a dirty picker. She used to put leaves in with the hops, whereas my grandfather was a clean picker. But it didn't really matter because they both earned the same sort of money in the Hopfields. And they used to pick hops here in Worcestershire in Bishop's Froome. And my great aunt Shirley Rees told me about the time when they came into the Hopfields and my granny had laid out a table with all, proper cups and saucers on. And so this is called The Table in the Hopfields, Bishop's Froome, Shirley's Tale. We got to the Hopfields just as the sun was coming up. We walked across the Poove and there was our Aunt Amy pouring panni from the kettle into the big brown teapot. She'd covered the table with a white lace cloth, had laid out her best china crockery. Here you are, my girls. Come and have a bit of breakfast and a nice cup of mesky. Me sister and I couldn't help but laugh. The table looked so funny in the middle of nowhere. Now listen here. We got to pick a lot of hops today, yearn ourselves some poshes. We had to sit on a red check blanket, the grass still wet from the morning dew. She gave us bread, cheese and a cup of sweet mesky. We looked up at all the obbin that she prepared for the oppers. Plates of bread and ham, cheese, pickles and funny shaped biscuits. She put her hands on her hips and looked around as if she was waiting for someone. Here he is, about time too. It was our Uncle Tommy, come all the way from Aneth. I knew with him helping, we'd have picked loads of ops. He came striding across the pool, a big smile on his face, his trilby on and his waistcoat all buttoned up. He always did look smart. Well, well, ain't this cushy, Amy? You made yourself at home, I see. What a lovely spread. It don't seem that long ago that we were on rations, Tom, and you know me, I do like a nice bit of grub. He kissed her cheek, bent down, tickled us girls and made us giggle. One by one, the rest of our people joined us, wanting breakfast. They were just as amused at the sight of the table as me sister and me. We never knew what the next thing might be. Hungry finches waiting for crumbs as we ate our grub. A bell rings. It's hopping time. Okay, so this next poem is an important, well, it's not a poem, it's a short story. It's very important. It's for my cousin Julie Morgan, who told me about when she used to be at school and the teachers used to, you know, be very critical of her for being a gypsy traveller. And this is, in a way, a sad story, but in another way, a very powerful story. It's called Dirty Little Flower Girl. Us gypsy travellers had it hard in the days when we had to go to school. The gorgers used to call us names. They spat on us, told tales. But we were there to learn. It's what our mothers and fathers wanted. I'd rather have been out on the toba travelling around England. Although I will say I'm pleased that I had an education of sorts. It helped me to get on in life, and I've had some cushy jobs. My sister and I went to the local school. We had a lot of time off for travelling. I can't say that I liked it there. Well, I would have done if we weren't all cooped up like chickens. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't breathe. I didn't like Mrs. Francis, me teacher. Then again, she didn't like me. One lunchtime I was standing in the line, waiting to get me obbin. She shouted at me, "You're holding the queue up. Move along, be quick." I moved along, but I heard her say to another teacher, "Dirty little flower girl." Something snapped inside my head, and I said, without thinking, "I'm not dirty." She looked at me, fierce-like, her face turning red. She put her bast out, bent down, and slapped me hard around the legs. I didn't cry, just moved along the line to get me obbin. Me dad picked me up from school. I was very quiet all the way home. Me mum gave me a cuddle and a kiss when we got in. She smelled of roses, which was nice compared to the smell of steak and onions that she'd been cooking. After dinner, she undressed me to me vest and knickers. I sat on the draining board. As she started to wash me legs, she called out, "Harry, come here, dig at the baby's legs." "Dawdy, Dawdy, has somebody snoped you?" I cried, but still didn't tell him. It was ages until I finally did. The next morning, she marched me to school. We went straight to the head teacher's office. I had to wait in the corridor. There was a strong smell of polish. I sat there for ages. I saw Mrs. Francis go in. On the wall in front of me was a picture of the Rounders team. I thought, I'd like to be in that team. They all looked happy and friendly. After a while, my teacher came out, walking fast, looking down at her feet. My mum came out. She grabbed me and took me to the classroom. She said, "It's done and sorted now, my babe. Go and learn." I never did find out what happened in that office. I had a good guess. I was at that school for another year, but the teacher never bothered me again. I never did get to be in the Rounders team, though. Thank you, Julie Morgan. I have to. Okay, I'm going to read a poem now. We've got a little while left. We should be well on time, John. I know I said to you I'll only do 45 minutes, but we've got a few more to do before we finish. So this next poem is really for my mum and my dad. My mum met my dad, Jimmy Hill, in the Hopfields. He was from the Welsh Valleys. She was from Middlesex, and they met in the Hopfields and got married. Sadly, he died when he was only 27, so I never got to meet him. And my sister also, because my mum was pregnant with my sister. So this is a special poem. It has been published in various journals, and I want to read it to you. Cymaftu. Mother was from Middlesex, father the Welsh Valleys. He was a pole puller, she picked the hops. One Friday night, under a sickle of moonlight, they sat on a bench in front of the Green Dragon pub. The landlord had filled an old bath with beer. The hoppers were dipping their mugs into the frothy liquid, which dripped onto their bare chests. They were smiling as they wiped their mouths on the backs of their arms. Father and mother sat quietly holding hands. He leaned in close, was about to kiss her cheek when a voice hollered from the darkness. Billy, gel on. Let's get back to the Varda. It's me, Dad, she said. She jumped up, straightening her long skirt, then quickly turned and whispered, Cymaftu, Jimmy. He didn't know many Romany words, but this one, well, he just knew. Okay, so next poem is a new one, which is going to be in my new collection, the Pookering Kosh, which is based on this stick. The talking stick. It's used in old English gypsy rituals. It's really about when an elder is about to die, pass into the light. They would put one end of the stick in his hand or her hand, and the other into one of the youngest members of the family. And that's what my new collection will be called, the Pookering Kosh, the talking stick. And I'm absolutely thrilled that Salmon Poetry Press will be publishing this in spring 2022. So if Jessie Lendenny is listening, thank you, Jessie. So this is a new poem. It's called Dark is the Forest, and the title is taken from a poem by the poet Edward Thomas. Dark is the forest and deep. In times gone past, it's where we'd sleep. Under the oaks or the hawthorn tree, drop our covers, our minds go free. Dark is the forest and deep, for Pookering our morts will keep, a small gold ring tied with string around their wrist or in their fist. Dark is the forest and deep, where foxgloves grow and deer do leap. Our plans are spun and boar will run. We take our time, we have some fun. Dark is the forest and deep. We pass by patrons for those who seek to keep in touch with folk that are dear and pass on news of birth and fear. Dark is the forest and deep. Okay, just coming to the end now. A very short little piece which is at the back of this book here, Applewater Povel Panni. And it's called Romany Trials in the 1950s. Oak Prain Gelon, Dick the next Thatchin Tan, a fellow child pookers, Kushti Bot. Okay, so we're going to end our session with a song, another lullaby, and it's just called the Gypsy Lullaby, and Simon's going to play guitar. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I'll sing you a lullaby, my wild Romany child. Then you must sleep, dream of Shushy and Gry. I'll sing you a lullaby, my beautiful child. I'll cast a dropper, how peaceful your life. La 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 la. I'll sing you a lullaby, my ward Romany chai. Then you must sleep, dream of Shushy and Gry. I'll sing you a lullaby, my beautiful chai. I'll cast a dropper, how peaceful your life.
Thank you, Raine. That was a beautiful night. We can all unmute ourselves and if we want to talk, but before that, remember, past poets, normally we make a bit of our money by selling our pamphlets at the end of a reading. That's a bit difficult right now with the COVID. So instead of that, if you go to the site, there is a little hat and you can drop some coins straight into
John,
PayPal.
we cannot see your head.
Yeah, but why do you need to see my head?
Oh, it's so lovely.
It's my dog and it's coming out of. So anyway, the other thing is on Wednesday we've got on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. It's pre-recorded, so the sound's going to be great. And we've got Rory, and who's a brilliant singer-songwriter. Thank you for coming on tonight, Rory. But right now, I'm going to shut. We'd love to see you all. I mean, on the site anyway through the week, but or through the coming weeks. But right now, unmute yourself. You can all have a little nap with Raine.
Yes, do. Hello, is Julie there? Chelsea?
Hi, Raine. I'm here. Hi.
Hello. Where are? Can I see her? Can I see her somewhere?
Julie?
I can hear you.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, Julie.
Hello. Hi. It was amazing. Very emotional for me.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Me too.
I hadn't heard your granny's voice for how many years?
Yeah.
I mean, years.
Yeah, come on.
So that, I must say, brought a few tears to my eyes, as well as the poem about my bullying at school by the teacher. So something that's
I know, me too.
Well, I'm 64 years old and I've never forgotten that, ever.
No,
It's been with me. So
oh, I feel emotional as well now. I feel, yeah.
Me too.
no, it was amazing. And Simon, you did so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
Thank you.
And also for hearing the spoons, again, I haven't heard that for donkey's years. So
Yeah, they were brilliant. They were brilliant as well. You guys really in sync with each other. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Is that Chelsea?
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice to hear what I've been reading. So that was really nice.
Yes.
Out loud.
And I was getting educated, Raine, as well, while Chelsea was telling me some of the stories herself. It was brilliant.
He was asking me what the words meant, what the Romany words meant, so I had to sort of translate some of the lingo.
Yeah. Can we see you, Chelsea and Dylan?
Listen, I've got 5 kids here, and I'm running in and out of the room.
Okay.
I've got Maddie, Freddie, Frankie, Marley, and Scarlett, and I'll be honest, they're being quite difficult. So I'm trying to run baths, and they're on trampolines in the rain and all sorts.
Okay, thanks for tuning in.
That's all right. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Love you loads.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to say anything before we finish?
Oh yes, hello Raine, it's Maria. It's lovely to hear you.
Oh, hi Maria.
Yes, Maria and Bob here.
Hi Bob. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed it. As you know, Bob has done a sort of community folk opera about hopping, so he was really interested in hearing a lot of that. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Isn't it a wonderful to talk about hopping, to read about it. It was amazing, wasn't it, Bob, in those old days?
Yeah.
Kent and Herefordshire.
Yes, yeah.
What I particularly enjoyed was when we put on the folk opera, and this was in Faversham. 2 or 3 people came up afterwards and said they were in tears because it just brought back such lovely memories.
It does. It does. Yeah. Oh,
I think the only time I ever went hop picking was near Faversham.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know where.
I remember
It was-
they have a hops festival, don't they? I remember.
They do,
Right.
yes. It won't be happening this year, unfortunately, but
No,
yes, it's
no
usually
doubt.
the first weekend after the August bank holiday. Yeah, gets very crowded.
Yeah.
I think a lovely coat. Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, I was just saying my family used to stop at is there a pub called the Jailhouse?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Might have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to hop pick in both Kent and Herefordshire, Bishop's Froome. But most of my Ripley family were from Kent. So yeah. Oh, it's lovely you could make it. Sorry, Rory, what did you say?
Oh, I was just remembering there was a bus or coach manufacturer that I was intrigued with. That are double deckers, and they had built all these coaches for people, and in Faversham itself somewhere, and jamming.
Oh yes, it is still there. Yeah.
Is it? Okay, I was playing over the road. Is it the Chimney Boy or something? I don't know what it was called.
Yeah.
It's been renamed now.
It's renamed.
Yeah, the Limes, it's called now,
It's
isn't it?
called the Limes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just the tune that your last tune, Raine, reminded me of my grandma danced at her wedding. She was Russian, East London, Russian, and but that tune reminded me of one anniversary song. I think Al Jolson might have sung.
Oh,
But she danced to that. It was based on an old Russian folk tune, I think.
Oh,
my granddad danced that at their wedding. Apparently, that was the first they danced. You know?
It's really interesting, Rory, because my mum loved Al Jolson, and when we were young and we went to dancing school, she used to teach us all the moves, you know, with all the hand movements and that, all of those old songs.
Yeah, my dad
and my grandfather's side of the family, the Lanes, were from East London. And my great-grandfather was a barrow boy for quite some time, and they were horse dealers as well. And they also, a lot of them way back, used to be on the Black Patch near where the story of the Peaky Blinders used to, you know, originated from. So they were all up there as well. So it's fascinating, isn't it, when you look back at what they did. But I think singing and dancing has always been part of the Romany culture. We grew up on that. Yeah,
that's right. My granddad, that's how they met, dancing partners, my granddad and my grandma. And that's it, they dance and dance.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got a song about that, haven't you?
I do have one for Spitalfield, the fruit market, still the market porters, the barrow boys there. That's right, yeah. Celebrate keeping their memory alive, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, great.
Lovely. I've got to go and get some dinner together now, or finish dinner.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rory. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice
We'll
to
see
meet
you
you too.
virtually on Wednesday, not live, but
yes.
But you know, if you like Rory tonight, watch the whole set on when it comes up on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Well,
okay.
I enjoyed playing along for the spoon poems. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Rory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Lovely. Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye, Rory.
Bye.
Anyone else wanting to say hi? Oh, there's Naomi.
Yeah, thank you.
Hiya.
For this event.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, Raine.
Oh, hi, Liza. How
Hi.
do you pronounce it?
Sorry?
How do you pronounce it? Lisa or Liza?
Lisa.
Lisa. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, Raine. I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's so empowering and beautiful to hear the Romany language spoken for your poetry, and it really, you know, it gets me in my heart. So thank you. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Lisa. So glad you could tune in. Hello, Margaret.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. It was a great evening.
Good.
And then I've read your books cover to cover several times anyway.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to hear them actually perform, though. It's very different from just sitting and reading.
It is, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you, Margaret, for all
Thank
your
you.
support. Yeah, Margaret and I are fellow Hedgehog
Hedgehogs.
poets, and
But not hedgehog eaters.
Yeah, not hedgehog eaters. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Such a great
here
plan.
as well, I think. Zoe Siobhan Howarth-Lowes here, another hedgehog.
Yes, she is. She's just
Yeah.
put down here. Wonderful. She's got to go
Oh, she
now.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
she
wait
was.
to hear you again, Raine. Yes, lovely. And Jackie Pat, is Jackie still there? Oh no, she's gone. Thank you, Jackie, if you're still there.
One of the only animal poems I've ever written was about a hedgehog. Well, one to be written.
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to watch my dad cook them on the open fire. Yeah. Oh my God, it used to scare me. They used to spit out everywhere. Oh, it's horrible. But he used to eat it. He said it tastes like chicken, but I would never. No, I never ate it.
No.
Sorry? I never ate it. No.
I didn't think so.
It was only the men that seemed to eat the hedgehog. The women never seemed to touch it.
Oh.
I mean, when we used to travel on the open road, they used to light the fire, and then the men used to cook the hedgehogs in clay inside the open fire. But I can just remember them spitting and the noise of it and stuff. Horrible. Somebody scarred me for life.
Oh, well, wonderful to hear everybody, isn't it, John?
Beautiful. Beautiful night. It's been a lovely night.
Oh, I just had a message here from Blair Russell. It was really wonderful. Thank you for inviting me. Now, he's done that privately, but Blair is actually, I'm going to be working with Blair. He's the theatre producer from New York. So I haven't actually announced it publicly yet, but it's something very exciting that I'm going to be working with later this year and some of next year. So I'm very, 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 very excited. So thank you, Blair, if you're still there. And Scarlett Ward Bennett says, thank you so much, Raine. In pyjamas, so didn't go on video, but beautiful evening. Thank you, Scarlett. Bless you. Bless you, Scarlett. Have a great evening. We've enjoyed it, haven't we, Simon?
We have, yeah. Fantastic.
It's been lovely. It's been lovely.
Can I just say something?
Oh, hello. Who's that?
Hi, Raine. It's Sarah.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Have you enjoyed it?
I have, actually, because it's always lovely reading things about my family and, you know, just bringing them back to life and just sharing that with everyone.
Yeah.
As you will appreciate it, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, I've absolutely loved every minute. The music, your poems, stories, everything. It's been fantastic. But there's just one thing I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Because like Julie, where's Julie?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And
because
you.
I've always wondered if they killed the hedgehogs first. Do you know?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, because I can remember noises. So I don't think it was just the fire. I really don't think so. Mind you, if they were packed in clay first,
that'd be pretty
it probably would have been a slow death. But I don't think they killed them first. But I may be wrong. Actually, it's an interesting thing to find out.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm asking because my gran never ate them, which I thought was really interesting that you said, you know, the women never ate them.
I never thought, any of the women.
That's something I've always wondered. Did they actually kill them first?
Oh,
but,
I don't think so. But
No,
I might
that's horrible.
But I am going back 50 years or so. When I last saw it, I was about 14. So yeah.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah, definitely.
But still, I mean, very evocative poetry, wonderful poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for tuning in. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, have to go now. So thanks.
Margaret.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. And
Kushti Radhi to everyone. Good night.